What's up, guys? Above Average here. I'm going to give you my Kashtira deck profile, my updated deck profile, and I want to give you a little warning. I need you guys to sit through the explanation for each card because this is going to be a bit of a long video, and I want to let you know that it's not like any other Kashtira deck profile that's out there. And through vigorous testing and a lot of play testing in person and online, uh, and as well as like through experience, I know that this is the best Kashtira build. Even though it's a little bit different than most other builds. Now, I want to note that we know how good Kashtira is, right? It's been in the format for a decent amount of time. It has some tops, but obviously it's not getting there, right? It's not like winning events, like big events and stuff like that. So we know the cap of the deck, but everyone's pretty much playing the same build, right? So I want you to just sit with me and listen to the reasonings for the cards that I play, and maybe you'll understand why I play those cards. And I want you guys to just play it. Like, I know you're gonna look at it and you're not gonna agree, right? Because it's out of the ordinary, right? So it's not gonna make much sense. But I need you to just play it and see for yourself, right? So first things first, what is Kashtira's weakness? Now, we know Kashtira's weakness is board breakers, right? So if it's a heavy hand trap format, as long as we open decent, right? We know that we can bait 1 to 2 hand traps and we can still end on Shangri-Ira and then, be able to win the game through that, right? So now that Prosperity 1 to 1, and, obviously we lost the Rise Heart, consistency is lowered, and that's really bad, right? Like, even if you get hand trapped once now, maybe you won't have enough cards to push through and end on Shangri-Ira, right? So consistency is lowered, therefore the win rate is lowered because you're not ending on Shangri-Ira. So I wanted to combat that. So the first thing is consistency that I wanted to get back into Kashtira. Second is Nibiru and Evenly Matched and all those types of cards. Now, the one main way to out Evenly Matched or Nibiru is the way to play through it is to play spell card Monster Reborn, or get ways to bring back your Shangri-Ira after you get nibbed, or establish a combo that lets you end on SP to therefore play through nib. So this is what the second thing that I tried to do with this build. Now, the third thing is help Kashtira go second as well as go first. Now, what do I mean by that? So going first, we pretty much know the cookie cutter combos, right, that we could do, and especially like the link climbing plays, like we know that. But what do we do against Tempai? What do we do against Ritual Beast, right? What do we do against those bad matchups that Kashtira has? So I have a plan for that as well in this deck. So let's go through it. Okay, so first things first, obviously, we know we're gonna play through Unicorn. We wanna lower our opponent's ceiling, of course, consistency, not to say there. We want 3 Fenrir, of course. Key component is Rise Heart, right? It gives you a chance to get lucky, hitting important cards from your opponent's deck, as well as it's an extender, right? So there you go. And then, of course, the 1 Ogre that I always play. Now, this becomes even more important than before. So let's backtrack a little bit, right? People played this when the deck first came out, right? And maybe they played 1 Scareclaw. And then they started bumping it up more, right? But they also had a Rise Heart. And people realized that these are the most broken ones, right? You want to open Fenrir and Unicorn. But in my opinion, I think all the cards are broken. I think you want to end on all the cash cards, and opening up more cash cards besides Rise Heart, they're all pushes. So going into rank 7 is a push, and even going first, it's another push. So I would argue that these are the broken ones, sure, but I think all the cash cards are really, really broken. And if you play more with the cash cards as opposed to like reduce the package as much as possible and just try to get your Unicorn or Fenrir to resolve, I think that's one route you could take, right? You could play just, max it on these and then play a bunch of utility cards to let these cards resolve. Or you can play more cash cards with these and Ogre and the Scareclaw to help push through your opponent's disruptions as well as push through hand traps. So by playing more names, you're playing through hand traps more, right? Because you could just put another body on the board, right? More often. You're not just going to end with like an ash in hand, right? You're going to have another way to push and put a 7 on the board. But you're also increasing your consistency going first. You're increasing your consistency of going into rank 7s. So because I think that theory is so important and so good, I don't only play 1 Scareclaw Cash, I play 3 Scareclaw Cash. Now, I think the effect in hand is just super, super important, right? Because again, if you get nibbed on your Shang or Era or whatever, you could just Scareclaw Cash, banish your Shang, set preparations off Ogre, and then you're still gonna have Shang on your opponent's turn. Now, this is another card that lets you push through a hand trap. It's a very scary card going second, as well as, of course, it's really good in the battle phase, right? Because you can negate effects. So I think playing 3 is actually really cool and really, really good because it makes your prep even better, right? So with that theory, if you didn't see it coming, now you'll see it. I play not 1, not 2, but 3 tier cash. So just hear me out, guys. This is Kashtira. You're playing the Kashtira deck now. You're not, forget about what you know, forget about how cash is played, forget about everything, right? And just follow through. You will always, pretty much always, have a way to banish quick effect on your turn and your opponent's turn through these cards. Now that's really powerful because again, like I said, you have way more names. So you have, I don't want to hear people say you're gonna brick, because how are you gonna brick if you're playing even more names than you were before, right? So I don't want to hear, oh, this build bricks, because that makes no sense. You're playing more cash cards. So we've increased consistency here, right, of ending on Shang or Era and doing rank 7 plays and doing the Link Spider play. We have more pushes going second, right? We have more ways to put bodies on the board, which is good because it will go into our extra deck cards. And we have more ways to play through nib, more ways to play through evenly, more ways to play through board breakers, which is really, really crucial. Now, I think these cards should remain in the deck whether you're going first or whether you're going second, except for Rise Heart. I think Rise Heart is the only one you could reduce to 2 when you're going second. Now, because I play all these cards, not because I play all these cards, but because I play 3 tier cash, I think Shifter becomes a little more crazy than it was before. So tier cash, if you guys don't know, obviously on summon you can mill 3 from your deck or your opponent's deck. So under Shifter, you could tier cash and you could mill, if you already have like cards to play, which normally you will, you could under Shifter summon tier cash, mill 3 from your opponent's deck, which will get banished, and then you will Rise Heart, right? You will Rise Heart. So then you're gonna banish another top 3 from your opponent's deck, and then on their turn you could summon another tier cash, banishing another 3 from your opponent's top of the deck, right? And then you still have your Ogre, your Unicorn, your Fenrir, your Birth, right? And then these will also hit a card. So Ogre will hit another card from the top of their deck. So that's 10 cards, not 3, not 6, not 9. That's 10 cards you're removing from your opponent's deck. Now, think about it. You're playing against Fire King, Snake Eye, anything Snake Eye, anything Fire King, anything like weird combo deck, right? You're gonna hit crucial cards. There's no way you're not, right? You're gonna lower your opponent's ceiling drastically. And this is all just bonus, right? It's not really like, you're not really changing your plays at all, right? Instead of just, you know, using a Scareclaw that will just do nothing, this is gonna mill 3 cards from their deck. So you're giving yourself another chance to get lucky, and it's just like a bonus thing to your end board, which is really, really awesome. Now, obviously tier cash is really good going first even, right? It could be extra consistency because it could help you mill 3, and then you could bring something back off of Birth, as well as because you're playing 3 and 3, keep in mind, you could mill Theosis, you could have extra names engraved, and then these cards will be even more live. So tier cash at 3 makes Scareclaw even better, and it makes a Rise Heart even better too, because you could banish something from the grave, whatever you need, and then the Rise Heart could also banish your Theosis. So this lets you play cash more often. So that's it for the monsters. I know it's a really big package, but I consider these cards to be phenomenal going second, and you actually, like, by opening up engine, it's better than opening up a utility card of some sort. So that's that. And oh, for hand traps, just to stay on the topic of hand traps, I played 3 Shifter and 3 Imperm for my hand traps. I do not main Ash Blossom. I know it's really good into the Mulcharmies and stuff like that, but KASH already plays pretty well into the Mulcharmies, besides Perulia. I think fuwalos is totally fine. And I just would know that, like, against all the weird decks, all like even like the meta decks, I want Imperm in my deck for sure. But I do notice me citing out Ash a lot, especially when I go second. I just don't think Ash does enough. But I do cite it because I do think it's really important against rogue decks and random decks. So I just wanted to main deck the ones that are always good and the ones that I don't care if I see multiples, right? Even if I see multiple Shifter, I don't care, right? My opponent's going on the Shifter. Then obviously this stuff we know of, right? It's the 4 planets, the 3 somewhere, I have it here. My 3 birth, I don't know where it went. Oh, it's somewhere here. There's supposed to be 3 birth. Oh, it's right here. My bad. 3 birth, 3 theosis. You always side 1 out, but again, it's very good, especially now with all the names that you play. And the last card that I'm going to talk about is Kashtira Overlap. So normally this card is not good, and I do agree with people. But now you having 3 Rise Heart, 3 Tier KASH, 3 Scare Claw, you have so many ways of banishing the overlap, and it's really, really powerful to end, not to end on, but to have going second. It's like an in-engine way to negate a face-up card, and your opponent does not see it coming. Your opponent can't plan on this, right? So you just summoning Rise Heart. Normally, if you don't have Birth, you don't have a target, like a good target to banish. You kind of just banishing fluff. But you could banish Overlap and then negate a card. Your opponent does not see that coming. And then when you get Theosis, add this back. You know, if you start popping cards or you get rid of this card, you could boost your monster's attack by 1500. And that could come up, right? You could use this in the damage step, which is pretty cool. But all these cards becoming a negate is kind of crazy going second. And yeah, but this is a, look, you side this card out whenever you go first, pretty much. Against heavy combo decks, and it's just a very easy card to side out, but it's a phenomenal card in the main deck. You'll see, especially now playing all these names, the fact that you get to play another Kashtira name in your deck in general is just powerful. So I really like this card. You know, you could even mill it off tier KASH if that comes up, but you just revealing like Scareclaw KASH is like 2 pushes in a way, right? Because you could banish Overlap, summon, negate a card, and then this could attack over something else. So Overlap does come up, especially going second, and it's not a bad card in the main deck whatsoever, right? Even if you draw it, it's still good. You could still enable like another negate in your hand, which is, you know, it's really, really cool. So that's it for the KASH cards. Then again, because it's an above average deck, I play 3 Cosmic. I just think it's very powerful in almost every deck, and especially in Kashtira, since you play simple. You don't want to lose to BS, right? And then we have the 1 Terraforming and the 1 Prosperity, just because you can. Consistency, right? And the last cards is 1 Droplet, 1 Monster Reborn. These could be anything you want them to be, really. At first I was playing 2 Droplet, and Droplet is actually like probably gonna go up to 2, if not 3, if I find something to cut, because or I'm gonna side them. Because Droplet, and you might think it conflicts because of Shifter, but like if you think about it, right? If you Shifter them, you're gonna get a turn, and then your opponent is going to get another turn. So Droplets, even if you open it with Shifter, Droplets will be live at some point throughout the duel, right? And if you Shifted them, bro, you Shifted them, so it's fine, right? But in the hands that you don't draw Shifter, in my opinion, I think Droplets is the craziest utility card in KASH. It clears your board. You could chain it to your own spell cards. You could get rid of your field spell. Yeah, you get rid of your monsters. You can chain it to your KASH cards, right? So like imagine Fenrir effect to search, and then you just chain Droplet, get rid of Fenrir. That's insane. Like, or if you use Fenrir to search and they try to chain with something, and then you negate what they chain with, then on res you could Fenrir banish. Like, Droplets actually works with KASH very, very well, but people don't like to play it and they never tried it because of Shifter. But I would argue that it's actually really good. And Monster Reborn, I just play it because it's always been really good for me, and it works really well with tier KASH. Right now I'm playing 3-tier KASH. So that's that. And then the God card, the reason why I even made this deck or I even started playing this deck, you never set this card out, whether you're going first, whether you're going second, whether you're playing against combo. I don't want to hear it. You never take this card out. You could go watch Sanatoli's Rescue Ace deck profile, his first place YCS deck profile. And he explains that in his Rescue Ace deck, he never sides out any of the Rescue Ace traps or spells. He never sides out any of them. He just wants to have that gas in the mid game. And I would argue that this is even better than those cards, right? So, you need to do less to search this card than you do in Rescue Ace. So I think this card is absolutely important and works insanely well with all your Scare Claws and your Telement Kashtiras. There we go. And now the extra deck, which is very important, these changes. One Shanger Era still, you don't need any more. One Dark Armed, you could play two, but instead I play the Blaze. Excuse me. This card is very cool. It's a non-target pop and it can attack. So like I said, because you're playing so many sevens, you're going to want to bait and go into these cards and pop cards, attack, try to go to Zeus, and then start playing the game. And your opponent is going to end on disruption. So they're going to try to stop you. There's no way they're not, right? So you going into Blaze, and then, you know, you could even go Dark Armed, try to pop cards, and then once your board is clear, then you start playing with your Fenrirs and your Unicorns, etc. So going rank 7s is just super good going second against everything. Then the next thing, which is the big change, this should be a second Flare Metal, right? So pretend this is 2 Flare Metal, it shouldn't be this. Now, 2 Flare Metal, whenever you're playing against any deck that had played Shifter, whether it's Ritual Beast, whether it's Floowandereeze, whether it's Tempai, any of those weird decks, you just go double Flare Metal, pass. And of course, you saw how many 7s I'm playing, so it shouldn't be hard at all. So double Flare Metal pass gets you there, I would argue, almost every single time, unless they open like a crazy blowout card, right? Of course, whatever that happens. But you know, normally your normal end board of like Shanger Era, Fenrir, Unicorn, it never gets you there against the Shifter decks. Like, it's never enough, right? So against Tempai, you going double Flare Metal, they actually just can't game you because they can't be destroyed by card effects. And especially if you have Planet up, right? Then it's really hard for them to beat you. But their Dark Holes, their Ragekis, their Lightning Storms, all those cards are dead. They can't Black Rose you. They can't pop these cards. So it's really important. They have to open like droplets and stuff. So I think this is the best game plan moving forward, going into any of the weird decks, Shifter decks, or even Runic decks. If you're playing against a Runic deck, opening up a double Flare Metal, I think is really powerful because they're going to have to target it to negate it, and they're going to have to target it to pop it. So you ending on 2 of those will get you there. Then Big Guy, again, like I said, with the logic of these cards, you just want to go rank 7s to bait as much as possible, and then start playing the game with the rest of the monsters in your hand. Zeus, which helps you fulfill that that plan, and then the Typhon. Then moving forward, we have the SP, the Lizard, pretty much generic links, and then obviously the Draco Sack play is just something to do, like I always say, but you always pretty much, if the play comes up, you go into Draco Sack, you do all these, you draw 1 card, whatever, and then you end on SP, right? And then you start playing KASH. So you play around Nib, and then SP also banishes the material that's under Draco Sack. So you get another material banished for your preparations. That's that. And now going into the side deck, we have 3 Ash, 2 Bell. You could change these around, of course, but this is what I see for my locals and my events. But some key cards are definitely Ash, Spooky, Lava Golem. I side the Call by the Grave. I don't think it's main deck worthy, but whenever I'm going first, I know I want to have this card in my deck. And then the 3 Judgments, the Anti-Spell, and the D-Barrier. Again, I always play these cards. So that's pretty much it. That's the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think. I'm pretty sure I know what you guys are going to think, but I want you to try it out for yourself. Let me know what you think. And yeah, this is the above average new Kashtira list that I've been having tremendous success with, and it feels like I'm not even playing like the same old KASH like I was before. This is like it feels like a completely different beast, and I think if you get a lot of reps with it, you'll realize the power of just playing a lot of KASH cards, and you'll see that playing it how people used to play it is not the solution. It's not that like we discovered like the best possible list and we maxed out the stats of the deck, you know? So that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think, and above average with another Kashtira video.